And good afternoon. This is Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com. It is time now for final thoughts between Forreston and Fulton this Saturday afternoon. Round 2, Class 1A playoff game. It's going to be me personally, I think it's going to be a great game. Two different schemes going against each other. Really, really taken back by Fulton. I knew what Forreston had. I always knew what Forreston had ever since last year. Fulton, it just completely surprised me with their approach to the game, because you don't see a lot of small school teams with that run and shoot approach. You really don't see it that much. That's why it's completely breathtaking to see, and it's going to be a good game. I really do like Fulton's quarterback. Great touch on the ball, unbelievable touch on the ball. And you go on Forreston, the main thing is how can you when he rolls out, you got to contain him no matter what, and you have to put pressure on him, and that's going to be a key thing for that defensive line and those linebackers. It's going to be a huge thing. Containment. And as a defensive lineman, especially against a run shoot, forward of the line, if you decide to pinch and not go on the outside and pinch, you'll live by the sword and you'll die by the sword. So my personal thing would not pinch the lineman. Simple as that. Don't pinch them. It'd be a huge loss. But it's gonna be, again, like I said, it's gonna be an interesting game. The other thing for Fulton's defense, and this is for Fulton's defense, and I see this as a very strong defensive game too. Fulton's defense, it's got to be textbook tackling. It has to be textbook tackling. It has to be. They have to wrap up. They have to bring their guy down. I know every game you got to wrap and tackle, but this is important, because if you make that first miss, especially against that Forreston offense, they're going to gain 20, 30 yards on you. And it's key, basically. If they start chewing up a bunch of yardage, Forreston offense, it's going to be a long day for Fulton. Long day for Fulton. But again, like I said, it's going to be interesting. I do see weather being played a part into it. I have not checked the weather report. I have not checked it. If it rains, it's going to be a tough day. It's going to be a tough day for Fulton. That's my personal belief, and it'll favor more towards Forreston. So it'll be interesting to see. There's not that much to say. I've talked about the players. I've talked about everything else. I really do have a sense of respect for Coach Diedrich Forreston. He does a hell of a job. Really impressed with his resume too. Fulton, coach is trying. He's working on a program. I think they went to the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going. And I thought an interesting thing that I put yesterday was there were only three teams that have repeated as 1A state title champs. And one was Carthage for two. They represented both two teams. And I forgot the other team. But there's not that much repeating in that 1A thing, and I don't think there's that much repeating in the 2A thing too. So it's a sort of a little interesting factoid to look at. But again, I can't wait. I'm going to be there Saturday afternoon. I think I'm literally, and then I'm probably just going to be. I'll be in the stands. I'm not going to be on the sidelines. I just think it's better that I just go on in the stands and that. So I'll be in the stands watching the game. I'm going to probably go one half on the other set of stands, and the second half on the other side of the stands. So be interesting. Feel free to say hi or hello, whatever. Introduce yourself and everything else. And you guys can tell me how bad I mispronounced names and how many names I got wrong. And I do apologize for that. I really honestly do apologize for that. So it should be a fun time. See you guys Saturday Saturday afternoon, Fulton versus Forreston, deep dish football game of the week, Class 1A.